Hi there everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, More Yoga Fitness. My name is Kathy, and today I'm excited to share with you some tips and cues on a pose not everybody is fond of, but is always offered in yoga flow classes, the Chaturanga. I'm going to start by giving you a short tutorial on how to execute the Chaturanga with proper alignment and give you several modifications so that it is attainable for all bodies. Also, stay tuned because after I show you this Chaturanga tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate to you a couple variations of plank that are going to help you perform this pose much stronger and much more capable. Alright, so many of you have difficulty with Chaturanga because your wrists get sore, or your elbows, or your shoulders. And it is a common problem with a lot of yogis. So I'm going to show you how to execute this pose so that you can alleviate some of those problems that you can acquire if you perform this pose incorrectly. Alignment is key, guys. You really need to stack your joints. In fact, you need to do that in every yoga pose. So always bear that in mind when you're taking a pose. I'm going to start by taking my watch off because your wrists are going to get uncomfortable if you have a watch or anything on your wrists. So I would make sure when you're practicing yoga not to have anything on your wrists. The next thing we want to go over is coming into the Chaturanga. You want to stack shoulder over elbow over wrist. And it's also really important to spark your fingers. This is spreading your fingers apart nice and wide so that you can see little bits of the mat through the fingers. I'm going to start with my Chaturanga in a plank. So your nice strong plank is coming up on the balls of your feet. And your plank means board, so you're making your back nice and flat. Gaze is at the floor, neck is in line with the spine, and again I'm stacking my joints. I have my knees slightly flexed, but I'm going to spread apart my shoulder blades and lift my chest up away from the earth as if there's a spear coming up from the earth trying to poke me in the chest. This will give you a nice visual for your plank and how you can remain in your plank nice and strong. So before you lower down in your Chaturanga, you want to come up onto the balls of your feet and shift your weight forward so your shoulders are slightly forward of your wrists. My elbow points are to the back of the room, not to the side. And that's another problem that people have, is bending out to the side. It's really important that your elbows stay right next to your rib cage the entire time you lower down in your Chaturanga. So from here I'm bending down, and notice my elbows stay right above my wrists the whole time. My elbows are coming in next to my rib cage, and I'm holding myself here in my Chaturanga. And you can lower down to the mat. So you want to really make sure that you maintain that 90-degree angle with your elbow. So if you have a yoga block or books, or something that you can place on your mat, I'm going to show you a tip that's going to really help you hone in on making sure that you have the proper alignment when you're lowering down in your Chaturanga. So I'm going to actually place the block right behind one of my elbows. And you can do this with two blocks as well. I'm going to come up into my Chaturanga here. I'm going to shift my weight forward onto my toes so my shoulders are slightly forward of my wrists. And I'm going to lower down slowly. Now if you lower down and you're doing Chaturanga incorrectly, you're going to knock this block over, either off back or off to the side. But if you're lowering down properly in your Chaturanga, having your weight shifted forward and lowering down slowly, that block should stay put. And that will be an indication that you have the proper alignment. The next thing I want to talk about is a modification to Chaturanga for those people that don't want to remain in a plank, but would rather come down on your knees, which is a-okay. You need to do what your body feels is appropriate, and it's a class-by-class basis. So make sure you always listen to your body. So we're going to come down, spreading the fingers apart, and I'm going to start briefly in my plank. But then I'm going to drop my knees down, and notice I'm just dropping them down to the earth, and I'm keeping my hips shifted forward of my knees. So one thing you do not want to do is bring your knees down and then bring your butt back. You want to make sure that you stay forward in your stance. My wrists are still below my shoulders, and I'm still going to shift slightly forward so that my shoulders are forward of my wrists. I'm going to bend in the elbows at 90 degrees. They're rubbing against my rib cage, and I'm lowering down into my Chaturanga Dandasana. And then you can press yourself up and back. So the last part of my tutorial is flowing through a Chaturanga into an upward facing dog or cobra or baby cobra, and then a downward facing dog, similar to what is done in any yoga flow practice. So we'll start here in downward facing dog. Come forward into your high plank, and this is where we prep for Chaturanga. Shift onto the balls of the feet, weight forward, lower down, low plank, elbows at the rib cage. Tops of the feet flatten. Inhale, upward facing dog, cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift your tailbone, downward facing dog. Let's flow through that again, but this time we're going to do it on our knees. Come forward into your high plank. Knees gently drop to the mat. Shift forward, lower down. Chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra, cobra, or up dog where your thighs are lifted off the mat. Tuck the toes, lift the tailbone, downward facing dog. Nice job, everyone. Hopefully that helps you a little bit with Chaturanga and gives you some cues that will stick in your mind during your yoga flow practice. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you a couple plank variations that are going to help strengthen those muscles that you need to form a nice, strong, sturdy, and confident Chaturanga. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed those planks. I know I'm worn out. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe and let me know with a comment any future content you'd like or what this one did for you. Please give me a thumbs up and I'll see you next time.